very shy to ask for help. I don't want to get emotional. I'm no longer really accepting this because suffering as a student is acceptable. Suffering as a working person is unacceptable. It means I do like a challenge. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy for all those that are new, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome back to my channel. Whew, you guys, it's been such a long time since I've done a sit down video where I'm just talking. I have not done that in such a long time. It does kind of feel a little bit weird. I think the last time I did a sit down video was 2023, if I remember properly. I stand to be corrected, I'm not really sure, but I don't remember doing one last year. No, I don't. So I just decided, you know what, it's a new year. It's the 6th of Jan, it's the 5th of Jan today. So I just thought, you know what, let me just start off this year with a sit down video, since I haven't really done that, and just reflecting, because I feel like there's a lot that has just happened, especially last year, where I didn't really fill you guys in on too much about how I'm feeling, about all the inspiration behind everything that happened last year. So I just thought that this year, I feel like before I get into vlogs or whatever, let me just start with a sit down. I just feel like that makes so much sense. Also, another disclaimer, I'm not too sure if this is really appearing on camera, because I was just crying. And I'll tell you why I was crying. I was watching this movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas on Netflix, and that was a heavy movie. And despite me seeing on TikTok people saying this movie will make you cry, I just thought I could still watch it and be able to still film YouTube videos to be fine. So it was just that was a very sad movie. So I don't know if you guys can tell that I was crying or whatever. I tried to just give it a couple of minutes, because that was a very heavy movie. If you have not watched it, highly recommend. It is sad though, I will say. So just watch it on a day where you don't have to see anyone, who you're just going to be bawling in your apartment, in your home, in your room, wherever. So yeah, so I already done my eyebrows. I'm going to basically talk while I do my makeup, of course. And if you guys have watched my past chit chat get ready with me, then you know that I actually cannot do my eyebrows and talk on camera at the same time. I really have to focus on doing my eyebrows. But this was a very quick, I barely even filled in my eyebrows that much. It was mainly just concealer work on my eyebrows, which is a little bit of the brow pencil, but it's just because I want to keep them really natural, not really going anywhere. I'm just filming this YouTube video, so I know that I'm mainly a homebody, so every time when I say that I'm going to film a video when I do my makeup, when I'm going out, I never have time. I'm always rushing when I'm doing my makeup. So I just decided, let me just do this when I'm at home. It's okay to just do your makeup and you're at home. So I'm just starting by priming my face. My nails are very old, by the way. It's already chipped, so don't mind that, please. But what I was saying, so basically I'm just gonna be reflecting on 2024 in this video, talking about basically what I am taking away. And I don't like to do this where I speak about what are my goals for this coming year, because I do kind of feel guys, life is so unpredictable. I mean, it's good to have goals, but then sometimes I feel that puts so much pressure on you, and you don't really know what 2025 or the new year really does have in store for you, because I feel it's already predetermined. So I really am just taking it a day at a time. So where do I start? 2024 was definitely a year for a lot of things that changed for me. I started in my working girl era. I moved provinces from Cape Town to Joburg. It was just a lot that happened last year, in general. And I'm just gonna start by talking about navigating, like, from like being a student to now being a working girly. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm gonna be looking a lot on my right because my mirror is there. So yeah, but just basically like speaking about, you know, navigating the change from being a student to now being a working girl. It was definitely tough. I will definitely say that. I think it was, I don't know, I think part of me when I was still in varsity, I think a lot of us can relate when I say this, like you just always cannot wait to be done and graduate. It's like something to look forward to because, you know, being a student is hard. And I think when I then shifted, I was one of the lucky people to, right after finishing my studies, I got a job. Thank you to God, I'm so grateful for that, because I know exactly how hard it is, right, to get a job right after you study. And for me, I think it was a little bit on the tougher side, especially because I think my whole like student life, I always wanted to be a doctor and I always wanted to transition into medicine, and that did not happen for me. So now that I was like, I'm so tired, I don't want to study anymore. Like after my honors, I was like, I want to go into the working world. I mean, granted, I did love anatomy and I wanted a job specifically in anatomy. So whenever something like that came available for me, I went right for it. And I decided to just give a pause on the journey towards medicine. I'm not going to speak on my journey, like if I'm still going to pursue medicine. I don't know how I'm going to feel in the next year or two. Right now, though, my attention has definitely like shifted. I'm no longer like trying to pursue it as much. I just want to focus on what God is giving me right now, what doors He's opening for me, what resources that I have, and how I can use that to really elevate myself. So I think when I shifted into the working world, I was just like, okay, so I'm no longer a student anymore. I'm now a working girly. But I was also just starting out with just a basic, like, starting up salary. And living in Cape Town with that was definitely hard, especially given the fact that I had basically like no family. It was just friends in Cape Town. So I think it was like where I was staying. I stayed in Hout Bay when I was in Cape Town. Where I was staying it was still kind of giving, like, for me, kind of like I was still a student. This was when I was still, of course, at where I was staying. But as soon as I'm at work, of course, I can feel that, okay, now I'm a working girly. But I could only afford to live where I was staying. And I'm not saying that, you know, it was like not good. It was like, I feel like it was a really nice place, especially for someone like me who's just starting out. But I wasn't really, I still kind of felt like a student. I don't know if that makes really sense, but it's just like how I felt. Like where I was staying, there was basically almost no difference to when I was still a first or second year student. So for me, I just wanted that, like, I think part of the reason why I ended up moving to, I mean, I'm still gonna get into this, why I moved into Johannesburg, was because I did want that little bit of like independence and wanting to like start a new chapter, especially since I've really started being a working girly. Something that also kind of shows within myself that now I'm a working girly and I can take on responsibility and I can, you know, I'm grown right now. So I think that was one of the reasons why I moved to Johannesburg, is because it was more around what I could afford. But I think me moving from Cape Town to Johannesburg was one of the best decisions that I've ever made for myself, and I'm so glad that I really made that decision to do that. But I'm gonna talk about how it was specifically like living in Cape Town. I am not going to lie, living in Cape Town it's nice because it's so beautiful. Like I was like, I think flabbergasted like all the time, just seeing the mountains, seeing the oceans, just seeing the way that Cape Town is just beautifully crafted. I was always like in awe like of God's creation. Like, wow, it is quite beautiful living there. And every time I always wanted to just capture, you know, the moment, the picture or something, because I was just like, wow, this is just so beautiful. So I really did love staying in Cape Town, and I think that for the past 6 years, I've gained a lot of experience like living in Cape Town. I've grown so much. I feel like a lot of growth happened in Cape Town because that's when I went from being a teen to being in my 20s, early 20s, to studying, to being, you know, just finding more of myself and who am I and what I love. And I honestly really appreciate Cape Town for everything that it has taught me. And I think that in the future, I definitely want to move back. Like, if there's one place where I know that I want to fully like settle down, where it's like I'm getting married or I'm having kids, and this, like, I feel like Cape Town is the one place where it's just like it's going to be my home. It's just that maybe right now, for what I want to do, what I want to achieve with my life, I just don't think that it was best for me. I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking for everyone else. Of course, everyone has different experiences, but this is just my experience. So I definitely would love to go back to Cape Town sometime, but right now I am closing that chapter. And I think if anyone would want any advice from me, trust me, please, like, as I said, like, I am just going off of my own experience. I do think that in Cape Town, as a Black person, it does help if you have some supportive structure like family, where you can like maybe live with them if you transition from being a student to a working person, unless the job that you get pays extremely well, where you can be able to afford and transition well from, you know, like being a student to. So sorry guys, as I was saying, there was just a little bit of noise outside. But if you're able to really like transition well, where you know that you will not be like suffering after you're a student, then, because suffering as a student is acceptable, suffering as a working person is unacceptable. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you can be able to transition where you're really okay as a working person, then by all means try it out. My experience was different because I was, as I said, I was just starting out, basic salary. I needed to live in my means, not beyond my means, and I didn't want to suffer. So I would just advise anyone who maybe might be in a similar situation to me is don't try to live like too much beyond your means. Don't, like, because I promise you, in Cape Town, unless you're willing to do like sharing, house shares and stuff like that, but if you do want your own place, then just, if you want to live in Cape Town, just accept the fact that almost 50%, if not at least 60% of your salary will be going to your apartment or wherever you're staying. So that's just one of the things that I would really caution. But yeah, so I'm just going to now just like speak about what really motivated me to move kinda to Johannesburg. I think I already did touch on, you know, of course, the expenses, and I think I feel like in almost every chit chat with me, I'm always like speaking about mental health. And oh my word, it's just, yeah, I'm over speaking about it now all the time. But one of the reasons why I did feel like it was necessary for me to move to, you know, Johannesburg was also because I really wanted to be around familiar faces and be around family, and also just have that option to, if I want to go home, be able to just be like, I'm catching flights and I'm coming home. Because I do realize that I don't like being like lonely. Loneliness is not a nice feeling, and I really kind of did feel quite lonely in Cape Town. And I'm a person who, one of my, I think, toxic traits is that like I do tend to isolate a lot, especially when I'm going through my own stuff. Like, I won't reach out. And it's not like something that I do like deliberately. It's just like almost like subconscious, where when I'm feeling something, or when I had to like kind of figure out some things within myself, I just tend to kind of like hibernate. And I don't really talk about the stuff that actually really does like bother me a lot, or I find it at least hard to articulate. So I rather just kind of just like be in like my own little shell and then try and figure things out on my own, which is kind of not nice, because it kind of just like makes me even feel more alone, because I think I was feeling so alone in Cape Town, and my response was to sink back into my shell, and even that makes me even more alone. So I think it did kind of just like start to slowly take a toll on my mental health, like especially like in the beginning of the year. Like I think between like February to like April going towards May, I was really just like in a like a little bit of a dark space. And whenever I don't really speak about this stuff, but every time when I ever speak about mental health, like everyone is always so shocked, because they just like, you are one person who, you always seem so happy, and you definitely hide it quite well. And it's not like I'm hiding anything. I think it's just like when I'm around people, I try just like to be happy and live in the moment, and to not kind of, whatever it is that I'm feeling, to kind of just like put it out there. I just want to enjoy the fact that right now I can be distracted from all the things that happening in my head. So in general, I just don't even like speaking about it. That's just how I think. So I think, and if anyone has understood like being alone, and also how it can affect you mentally, it's almost like a domino effect, where everything that's happening in your life, it kind of just like is drowning even further. Like, so I'm not even sure how to really explain this. So another thing is that if you're not really too happy with kind of like maybe your environment or where you are residing, especially if you're someone who's a homebody who likes to stay indoors, if you're not fully like happy with your environment or where you're staying, then it can also like add more onto your mental health, or how it affects your mental health. I don't know if that even makes any sense actually, but and then I think that was one of the things, because it's like, as I say, it's like a domino effect. So I was just feeling quite alone, and feeling like after my working life, really just not really sure how to navigate like life. And it's just like a big shock of like, okay, you know what, now you are a working girl, and there's all these thoughts that are happening in my head. Like, is this how I saw my life panning out when I was 16? I don't want to get emotional. Let's not do that. But I think that's exactly what like started to happen, like, which is why I'm like, it's so hard for me to explain. Where it's just like, it's like, is this how you really envisioned yourself like at this age? And I know everyone always preaching that don't ever put a timeline on your life, but there was a certain way when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20, where I envisioned that this is what I would be doing, this is where I would be working, this is how my life would pan out, this is exactly what I wanted. And my life is a little bit different to that. And I think when I actually started to realize that, it was just so much for me. And then I also, now I'm feeling alone, and then I'm a person who hibernates, so then it's also, eating away my mental health. And then also I'm not really like, I'm in a space where I'm not really like happy, where I'm, like in my environment where I'm living, and it's also just like making me even more sad, So I think I just wanted some change, and I was there for like 6 months, and I knew that I needed some change because I did not want to drown in this forever. And trying to explain to other people why I want to move to Cape Town was definitely hard, because everyone is always like, but why would you want to move away from Cape Town? I mean, like, it's Cape Town. I mean, trust me guys, I know it is Cape Town. But I'm just also like, it was so hard for me to articulate myself, because I don't think that everyone would really understand where I was coming from. And I also just didn't want to share also like too much about what was going on in my head, because I didn't know how to. So I think that's when I made the decision of like, okay, what are you going to do about this? Like, you need to come up with a plan. Like, what are you going to do to basically take yourself out of this like dark little space that you're in? And I told myself, you need a change in environment. That's literally what I told myself, that I need a change in environment. I need to experience a new life, kinda, even though I'm still in the same country, but different city now. New life, new people. I feel like I'm a person who loves change. I think I said this in one of my past vlogs, that I actually really love change. I don't like too much of a constant all the time. I feel like change really challenges me, and I do like a challenge. So that's why I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to move to Johannesburg. I've always said it anyway, that after varsity I'd want to stay in Johannesburg. Let's do it. And I did, and here we are. How many months now? 6 months later. And I've been living in Johannesburg. I know guys, even like I can't believe that it's been like 6 months of me like living in Johannesburg, but it's been 6 months of me living in Johannesburg. Time has literally flown so much, and Johannesburg and Cape Town are definitely different, very different. Johannesburg life is very fast-paced. I always view it as like the New York of South Africa, because it's like so fast-paced. And Cape Town is like the California, if that makes sense. If I had any USA subscribers, they would definitely probably now understand of like the difference between Cape Town and Johannesburg. But that's just like how it is. Cape Town is definitely more slower paced, and it's more chilled. It's very just scenic, and yeah. But then Joburg, on the other hand, is a grinding area. It's where you basically, I feel like the most growth in people is made here, and that's exactly what I'm looking for at my young self. And I think honestly, like, now speaking of how it's been living here in Joburg, it's definitely fast, as everyone has been saying. I learned quite fast. I felt like a lot of things I actually learned quite fast, and I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was not scared and I was just like ready to take on this challenge and I was just ready. I wasn't. I was quite honestly afraid of moving here. Like, a lot of people have lots of opinions of how it is moving to Joburg and living in Joburg, and but I also received like a lot of help, and I think that's the one thing that I was like so grateful for, is that I have family in Johannesburg who helped me. Because when I first moved here, I didn't have a place to stay. I'm sure you guys know that. I didn't have a place to stay, so my aunt literally took me in and she helped me find apartments. She took me to viewings. It was just like so nice. I think for the first week as well, or the first 2-3 days, she took me to work, and she basically just like really helped me move in here. And she took all my stuff that I came with from Cape Town, and they stayed in her garage. It was honestly like so nice, and I think that had I moved from Cape Town straight into my first apartment, I don't think it would have been too good for me as well. I think I needed like family, or I needed like familiar faces to be around, especially moving into a new city. And I really feel like I'm so grateful that she was there, like to help me out, and even just like navigating now the new like office, because I'm still working at the same job, but it's a different office. They have two branches here in Joburg and in Cape Town. So even just that, like, you know, having someone to talk to and come back to and just say how work was, you know, all that stuff, like going to viewings, not doing it all by myself, her coming along with me, like I needed all of that. I needed her opinion as someone who is older. So I really did appreciate all of that. And honestly, if she's watching this video, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for all that you know did for me. Like looking back, I realized like I don't think if like I would have been able to really do it so smoothly without her. So, and I was able to find a place within a month. So because I moved like end of like 30 June in Johannesburg, and on the 1st of August I'd already found a place. So yeah, I think I saved a lot of money also having her, because like I didn't have to pay for Ubers, like going to see all these places. She took me when she could. Even my colleagues at work, like they also helped me take me to some viewings. Like I really do appreciate you guys so much. And I think that's another thing that I had to learn, that it's okay to not do things on your own. Literally, like it's okay to accept help. I'm a person who is very shy, even shy to admit this. I'm very shy to ask for help. That's the one thing that I'm shy about. I don't know what it is, but it's just like you always want to feel like you always feel like you're gonna inconvenience people, and that's the last thing I ever want to do. So asking for help is just like so hard. You're just like, ugh, what if this person actually like really needed to do something, and here I am now just like, you know, being a nuisance. But people actually, like especially your family and your colleagues and your friends, like they actually really want to help you, and you have to accept that. So I think that's one big thing that I learned this year, that ask for help and people will help you out. So I'm grateful for that lesson. So I then found, of course, this apartment that I now live in. It's in Midrand, by the way, and it's very affordable. It was something that I could afford with my salary and still be able to live and go out, and you know, it's something that I'm so grateful for. I was also able to, you know, navigate transport. There's a bus stop that I go to and take the bus to work when I have to go to work. You know, all of that, like even the Gautrain, when I have to go to Sandton, there's, you know, means for me to go from Midrand to Sandton or to Park Station or to Randburg. There is means, and affordable means, that is. And I think I learned that literally, I think within 2 weeks, you know. So it's definitely is possible to navigate the Joburg life. It's not hard at all. Like you just got to be determined, and you just got to know exactly what you want, ask help from the right people. And yeah, like I really think that it's quite nice. Like I'm still trying to learn the language here. I think the main language is like Tswana, Pedi, and Sotho, which I'm trying. I'm trying. I think learning a language is actually one of the toughest things to do, but I am trying. My aunt, the one who lives here in Centurion, she's obviously from KZN, but the way that she knows Sotho and Tswana now, it's like she was born here. So I think she motivates me. I'm just like, okay, if she can do it, I think I can too. Like as much as she's lived here, probably don't know how long, maybe like 20 years now, more than 20 years. So that could be me as well. I'm pretty sure she probably learned the language in 5 years. So I think she can also, she has here and there, I do be asking her, oh, what does this mean? And she helps me out. So even like people at work, like who know of the language, they do be helping me out a bit, so it's definitely doable. But now it's 2025, and as I said, I'm not really gonna speak on like any goals that I really like have for this year. I mean, of course I know what I would want to accomplish and achieve. I'm just gonna speak vaguely on it because I said I don't like to really put out there like any goals that I might have, because life is so unpredictable. But I know for a fact that like I do want to focus more, and I'm manifesting this, I do want to focus more on my creative side. So like YouTube and makeup. And if you guys didn't know, last year I also learned a new skill. I actually got a certificate for it. Lashes. I've been also training myself in doing lashes, individual lashes. Like I want to like not waste all those new talents that I've learned. So hopefully one day I can also be a lash artist. Of course, right now with everything that was happening with me moving to Johannesburg, new apartment, navigating the new office space, all of that, it was definitely kind of like a lot. So also trying to like juggle everything, work life, YouTube, makeup, which I've definitely neglected, and now this lash artistry that I've dabbled in. It was a little bit on the tougher side to navigate, but I'm hopeful that this year I'm going to try my best, take it a day at a time, of course. But I know that I can do it if I just put my mind and set my mind to it. So that's definitely where I'm at. And I actually think that this, like 2024, was a really like a year for uncomfortable growth. That's just exactly like how I feel. There's a lot of things that I had to, kind of like, I'm leaving this behind, or I'm leaving like certain things behind that no longer, make me happy or serve me, even though it was so tough to do so. Sometimes you just gotta learn when something is just no longer good for you, and you just gotta let it go, even no matter how much you may love someone, or you may love something. But when it's time to really let go, that's the one thing that I try not to force anything anymore. I'm trying not to force anything anymore, especially like going forward, not just this year, but just going forward. And 2023 me would have never ever seen myself do the things that I did this year, like letting go of so many things, because I was definitely not that person. But I'm really learning to just put myself first. Like, it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm no longer really accepting this and moving on. And you don't really have to be, like bitter about it to anyone. You just gotta be like, you know what, girl, you deserve better, and just move on. So I think being okay with also just like saying no to people, that's another thing that falls in line with that. Just being able to be like, no, I don't want to do that, or no, I actually just want to be alone, or spend time alone, or letting just people know, like, there's no animosity. It's just that right now I just really just want to be alone, and just saying, no, I'm really okay. I'm really trying to get comfortable in saying all of that and doing all of that, because you really have to put yourself first. That's the one thing that I also realized. We tend to we put people first, and then when things are going badly for you, and when things are not going too great with you, or when you're in a dark space, you really are alone. And then all those people who you were mainly there for when they needed you, they're not there when you need them. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's very important to kind of just like see and navigate the people who are there for you in your most toughest times, and pour into those people. it's very important to not always be pouring into a cup that never pours back into you. Like, did I say that right? I think I did. Like, it's important to pour into cups that you know that when you also need a helping hand, they are there. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So don't be afraid to tell people no, or don't be afraid to voice out your feelings. And whether or not, don't have expectations about how people are going to take that. You've said your piece, you've said your truth and how you felt, and how someone else decides to interpret that, that's really not on you. You can only control what you say or how you react at the end of the day. So I think those are the things that I've really learned. And also just really just like, some things do not require your energy. Yeah, they really just don't require your energy, and you just gotta live life, be happy, and focus on you. I know this video now kind of sounds like I'm throwing out shade. I'm really not. I'm really just taking like my lessons and I'm just sharing them with you guys. There's literally no shade to anyone. So yeah, I think another thing that I also want to do is, last year, especially with the move to Johannesburg, I think in Cape Town it was much better, but moving to Johannesburg, I ended up like really not having any routine. I think when I was still in like school and studying, because of the fact that you have a schedule with studying, you know your schedule, it's kind of easy to set a routine around how you're going to study in that week or in that month or whatever. But now that you're working and your weekends are more free, it's kind of hard to really like set a routine. And for the last 7-8 months of 2024, I really did not have a routine. And I think that was another thing that just kind of stressed me a little bit. I was just like waking up, going to work, coming back, sleeping, and it was very unhealthy. So I really want to try and get back into a routine. Loving, like, you know, like waking up in the mornings, exercising, all the stuff that I used to do. I want to get back into doing that, because I do think that having a routine, you know, is one of the recipes as well for good mental health, for good, you know, for success, basically, like in terms of like your personal life. So I want to try and get back into doing that. So yeah, those are basically the things that I want to try and take into the new year. But I'm just gonna finish up doing my makeup, doing the final touches, and then I'll chat to you guys just now. Alright guys, so I just finished up with doing my face, just to sit inside my apartment. I'm really not going anywhere. I just was doing this for the purpose of filming this YouTube video that I needed to do. So I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I hope someone can take away something from this video. Yeah, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Please push me if you guys see me slacking. I'm definitely going to be allowing the, you know, the YouTube bullies to push me, okay, and hold me accountable. I'm trying to stay consistent, but also at the same time, I think it's also important to note that life is so unpredictable. So I'm going to give myself as well grace and be easy on myself, but I'm also going to give off my best, and just know that I'm going to try and give off my best with this channel. And yeah guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.